Welcome to Board Game Homies, where a group of friends play, review, and share about all things board games. Sitting around the table today are
Reed,
Becky,
Gillian,
and I'm Angela. Today we'll be discussing a pair of expansions for Wyrmspan and the White Castle. Those games are getting as beefy as my waistline during the holidays. But first, what's bringing you joy?
my joy game is a game that I think was sat on for a while before we played it. And I think Gillian had it for a while. Maybe not, or maybe Angela played it. I don't know. It's Yokai Septet.
Ooh.
We have been talking about shiny cards with Panda Spin, and I was like, that game has some very pretty shiny cards. And I love having a trick taker where you have this partner mechanism, and also sometimes you want tricks and sometimes you don't.
This game is so fun. And Gillian and I, we started the two-player game, but we never finished it. And I did enjoy the part that we did play. The reason why we didn't finish was because we were playing out and about somewhere. And I think you guys came. Yeah, you guys showed up, actually. And
you
ruined
ruined
that
our
game.
fun.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about
Whoa, the slander. This is about joy, Becky, not slander and hate.
Oh, well, it was still exciting, though. And I'm looking forward to playing a full two-player game of it and would like to play four-player again.
Thank you for inviting us.
It's funny. That's also a game that I'm always like, Gillian, does this one play 5 players? This would be perfect. And he's like, no, it's 4. And then, I don't know, a week later, Gillian, does it play 5?
You never remember, Becky.
With this game, I figured that it would be some very expensive, hard-to-find game, and was absolutely very pleased that you can get a copy for $15 or so, and it's widely available. So kudos to having a fun trick taker that people can actually buy.
I'm glad you mentioned this game because team trick takers are really interesting, and there's a new game that's coming out, Tax the Rich, that we were looking at, I think more because we were like, yeah, tax the rich, where we live in America.
Yeah.
But it also has a partner mechanism that I'm interested in trying to play because you basically name, if you have the highest bid for something, you can name a card and then that person probably involuntarily becomes your partner and then you're trying to win that number of tricks together. But I like the playing together mechanism in Yokai Septet. So I wonder what it would be like in this game where you're like, yeah, let's take on the man and do something cool together. And then also if you lose, it's always your partner's fault, never yours, which I also appreciate.
Oh, me too, because it's usually my fault, so I would really like it to not be my fault.
Except when we're partners, then it is your fault.
No, but it's going to be your fault.
Hashtag don't play with Becky.
No, you're usually my partner.
Oh, no.
You all both usually win this game. I dragged Gillian down, as we've talked about
Oh, I
before.
forgot. Reed is the problem. Yeah.
I love Yokai Septet, and a spoiler for maybe a future episode coming up, but I think it's going to be my top 3 trick takers of all time, probably.
Whoa, of all time?
I love Yokai Septet.
Because of the shiny cards?
I just love the gameplay. It's just so satisfying, and trying to judge your opponents, and also at the start of each round, passing cards to your teammate, and then realizing that they basically pass the same cards to you, and you're like, oh, well, crap.
That happened with me and Gillian a lot, that we would regularly pass each other the exact same cards, and then just be like,
because you're trying to short suit yourself so that you don't have a certain suit in your hand, so you're able to be flexible. And then you get past the same suit, and it's like, well, that was a waste. We basically negated each other trying to short suit ourselves.
Have either of you tried thinking, what would I not do so you don't send the same thing?
maybe we have to choose ahead of time who would think normally and then who would think differently.
Wait, that sounds like too much.
That's cheating.
Yeah, that one's actually cheating.
Yeah. Plus, there's nothing better in this game than putting down cards and then somebody has to play their yokai, and then you also are capturing your partner's yokai, so you get a double yokai, and you're like, sucks to suck, and then you win. It's
That
delightful.
didn't happen to me a lot.
Nope, no, not at all. And the mechanic of not needing to take too many tricks, because if you take, 7 tricks, then you've
the other
lost.
team wins, and they get to play all yokai that they have left in their hands, boss yokai, and yeah, it's bad news if your team gets 7 tricks.
The game that's bringing me joy is I've never played before. I ordered it because I had heard somebody laughing about it, not because it was a good game, but because Ian O'Toole did the art for it. And when I was backing 25th Century Games, had a Kickstarter. It's where I got Kabuki Tricks and Neko Syndicate, and I just got a ship notification for it. And one of the add-on games was a game called Sausage Sizzle, which I have no idea what it's about. It has animals, so Becky already hates it. But it also has dice rolling. And did I mention the art is by Ian O'Toole? So I'm excited about a game that I know literally nothing about that will upset Becky greatly.
Okay, wait a second. It's called Sausage Sizzle, and it's about animals. Like,
Come to your backyard to eat your sausages.
Oh, I thought they were becoming
Yeah.
the sausages.
I was like, are we like their elk sausage, goat sausage?
So Becky was
I
into
like-
it
yeah, I
until
was
she
like, wait a
realized
second.
that
Oh,
we weren't
so you didn't want
slaughtering
the
the
animals.
She doesn't like that anthropomorphic
I wanted-
animals.
I
She
wanted
wants to eat them.
Oh,
my
God, you
goodness.
are from Montana.
I was just about to say a bison sausage.
Oh, that would actually be pretty good.
Yeah. Wait, so I'm selling my sizzling sausages to animals.
Becky, don't be
How
inappropriate.
do they have money?
Selling my sizzling sausages for sustenance. That's a lot
to the animals.
to the animals. I don't know, Becky. I have no idea how this game plays. It is very silly, and I buy a lot of dumb games for dumb reasons, and sometimes they're really wonderful.
Yeah, like Brightcast.
Hashtag Brightcast.
Oh, Gillian was saying about that game the other day, and
I want to play it again. It was fun.
I have never played it, and
I-
I would like to play it.
I was also thinking that you need to play it.
I did pick it up the other day to see if it would help our video stand, but then didn't want to
Wait.
mess it up.
Oh, I thought you were buying it. You
Yeah,
were
I
like,
was
no,
like,
I
oh,
just
just pick it up at the
literally
store.
somebody
I
else's.
literally touched it.
Oh, all right, Reed, stop touching people's games. That's
Hey,
for
you're
me.
one to talk.
I said it is for me to do.
The game that's bringing me joy is one that's been sitting on my shelf for a while, which is the case for a lot of games that have been bringing me joy lately. But it's one that I hope to get to the table soon. We've kind of gone through a phase recently of trying to play some kind of mid-weight Euro games, and this certainly falls into that category. I have higher hopes for this than some of the others we've played, and that is Galileo Galilei. It is designed by Thomas Holick of SETI fame, and came out in the same year, so 2024 as well. I got it about a month or two ago, and I'm excited to get to the table. It's also an astronomy-themed game, similar to SETI, but kind of in the days of Galileo. And you're like observing planets and trying to avoid the Inquisition, and it just looks fun. And it really drew me in when I first looked into it. And the reason why it's kind of cropped up on my radar again is that the expansion for it is coming out, Luna. And I want to play this before I commit to getting an expansion to make sure I like it. And so I hope to get it to the table soon. But in the meantime, it's bringing me joy thinking about getting to the table and learning it.
I definitely am proud of you for wanting to play the game before buying the expansion.
Yeah, I was going to say that's such a growth. I was like, hashtag growth.
That's what I was going to say.
Honestly, before I said Galileo Galilei, one of the things that's bringing me joy is being proud of myself for not kickstarting so many games. Because I backed out of several. I canceled it before they ended. And so I was like, oh, I saved money by not doing this.
Yeah, it's like you almost made money by not doing it.
Yeah, like not getting the Ostia, like dual layer boards. Like I felt like that was a big thing for me.
Is this board game math?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, actually, I think this money is going towards comic books now.
Becky, that's a problem for future you.
You know what? I'm really proud of you, Gillian.
Thank you.
Also, I'm excited to play this game. It's one... I feel like I said this when we were talking about games on order, but this is one that you've been looking at for a long time. No, that was the music one. But you also have been
Lucia,
looking
yeah.
at this one for a long
Yeah,
time.
and I think honestly, Galileo Galilei has one of the most beautiful box covers. I just love it. It's kind of the old style, like kind of planetary drawings, and I just love it. Like that's the thing that really drew me in when I first looked at it. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm also interested just because Thomas Holick stormed onto the scene last year with 3 releases, if you can believe it, in a single year. And sometimes that's just how production goes and they were all from different publishers. But SETI, Galileo Galilei, and
Tea Garden.
Tea Garden, yeah. And so I kind of just want to, like a bingo card, play all of them. And I've heard good things about all of them. Certainly some people have loved SETI and Galileo as like his top 2, but still, I don't know.
Yeah.
Feels kind of nice.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I pronounced his name correctly, but it's Tomas, I'm sure.
Tomas.
Tomas Holick.
I am so excited about creating a bingo card for board games next year.
Oh, that would be really fun.
Yeah, people on the internet probably do it, like on Instagram, but when you were talking about it, I was like, oh my God. I think you saw me. I was like, I gotta do this.
Becky, I want you to create that for our New Year's episode.
Oh, that'll be good.
Maybe
We can make it downloadable too.
Yeah,
so
and maybe one for each of us, and people can download their favorite.
I love it.
Going back to Tomas Holick, Reed, a game of his is coming out soon that I think you'll absolutely love. It's called Aquatica. You make an aquarium.
And it's 90s dolphin themed.
Yep.
Wait, is that part real or not real?
No, it's
No.
definitely not. But Reed really loves the dolphin girl aesthetic.
I know. It's really fun
And
to see.
aquariums, yeah.
She does look like she's maybe physically pained right now thinking about it.
it's just the setup where I got really, really excited that Gillian had the perfect recommendation for me. And then it was about fish games, which is weird because on one hand, I love fish aesthetic, and the other hand, I hate fish aesthetic. So I really don't understand.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, love the fish, hate games.
love the game tip.
Wow.
No, I don't know.
Maybe it'll be about sardines. Who
I
knows?
do love a good tinned fish box.
So preserved fish.
Oh, is that what the board game's about?
No,
Oh,
it's
wow.
asking.
I would be like,
Dang,
that
I
would
was
be
like,
a great
I'm
trick taker.
in.
Would be like a tinned fish trick taker.
Yeah, but then you open the box and nobody hangs out with you because your cards smell like fish.
Okay.
Oh my God, but the box could look like a tin of sardines.
Yes.
Also, it's not Aquatica, it's Aquaria. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
slightly
that's
better.
very different. Yeah, absolutely.
Gillian, you owe Reed a recommendation. A perfect recommendation.
Okay, I don't hate it.
I hate it. Yeah,
I don't like
Gillian is-
I don't like the font, but I like the kind of Sears catalog 1950s.
cover.
Well, a real joy that is being brought to me is from 12 Chip Trick. I cannot remember if I've talked about this as a joy game before or if I just like keep thinking about it because it does bring me so much joy. But it is a trick-taking game with a drafting element after each trick. The winner of the trick picks a chip that was played during the trick that goes into their score pile, and then the rest of the players pick a chip to go back into their hand to play during a future round. Everyone will end with 5 chips that they score. Some of them are visible if you won them, and some are in your hand. But if your points are 21 or less, and the highest of that category, you win a coaster, and you need 3 of those to win the game. And if everyone busts, you win a coaster if you busted with the most points. I love this game. It hurts my brain, and especially because there are 2 different color chips. There are reds and blues, and if there's a red chip in the trick, then you have to take that first, and if there's 2 red, you get a choice. But I always think like, oh, well, I'll play this, and Angela's going to win, so she'll have to take this one. But yeah, and it's great. And also, I think there's been some consulting around the table, and it's actually 4 chips, not 5 chips. Is that correct?
You did not want Reed to say Reed's correction corner because that's
I was really thinking about it. I was like, am I going to say Gillian's correction corner? But it's my correction, so I was going to say my correction corner.
Thank you, Reed.
This was going to be my joy game, and then I was like, did I already have it as my joy game? Maybe not. But I love this game. I just call it the pig trick game because I can never remember 12 chip trick. And it has these cute coasters. The only way I've ever won is by busting the highest. I've never actually won through strategy on this game.
I love that you don't consider winning by getting. So if everybody busts, everyone goes over 21. Whoever is the highest over 21 wins. And that's how Reed wins. I don't think I've actually ever won a single trick in this game. I've never gotten a coaster. So that probably tells you how much I hate this game.
Yeah, is that why you don't like it? Because even though it's my joy game, the thing that does not bring me joy is you didn't enjoy it as much as I thought you were going to.
I think it was fine. It didn't move me like other trick takers we've played, and I'm almost positive it's going to end up on our best trick takers of the year list, but it was just okay for me.
Yeah, you're the only one that didn't absolutely love it, I think.
Yeah. But that's okay. I think that's what I love is not every game has to be an out of the park winner, and this one was good. It's like how Reed feels about Torchlit. I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it.
I have been asking to play that a lot.
Yeah, but sometimes you're a masochist and you ask to play games you don't love just to prove to yourself that you don't love it, but you're a good team sport.
Angela, as you were discussing the strategy, if I busted on purpose, that would be strategy. I do not bust on purpose in this game. I really think that I'm going to win and then never do.
I know, that's why it's funny.
As Gillian once suggested when I said, why am I bad at a lot of these games, that maybe I think my hand is better than it is. And that really made me think about that.
It's weird, though, because, like, you're such a whiz at poker style games.
Maybe it's just a deck of cards I get, or I've been playing them for 40 years and can figure it out.
Reed, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Are you calling Reed a broken clock?
I was just making a statement, Becky.
Okay. Reed is perfect.
Yeah, she didn't even know the astronomical clock wasn't a normal clock.
Hey, if you go to Prague, there's more than one clock on that.
And cue the music.
Oh, no, wait. How many times a day is that correct?
I don't know. It's got a lot of clocks.
So maybe you're more like an astronomical clock. You're right, like 6 times a day.
All right.
The White Castle Matcha was published in 2024 and is produced by the same team that produced The White Castle, Isra C., Shay S., Joan Gardet, and it retails for $29.99. Becky, what's new in The White Castle?
The Matcha expansion adds a new section to the board representing the tea ceremony, which includes a 4th bridge, a tea room, which is very similar to how the castle works in the base game, and a new card space in that area for even more action chaining and additions to your lantern. There is also a new resource, the Matcha Whisk, the Chazen.
With the addition of the 4th bridge, you get an additional action each round. So instead of 3 actions each round, you have 4. So in total, you go from 9 to 12 actions over the course of the game. And I think that kind of adds up in terms of the game length. There's more decision space and additional actions. So the Matcha expansion certainly adds a little bit of playtime.
I did find it really interesting that they did not add an additional round in terms of like 4 rounds instead of 3. They kept the 3 and just gave each of those rounds an extra action for everyone.
The White Castle is one of our favorite games, and it's dice placement, 9 turns, very tight. You mess up early and you're really out of it. This expansion really opens that up because you wouldn't think 3 more turns would do it, but 3 more turns really, at time it was like, oh my God, how many more turns do I have? I guess I'll spend a whole turn going to get resources. And the boards play fairly similar. So if you enjoy the White Castle, the actions will feel mostly familiar to you as you're going down to the new area.
I find it interesting that that you feel that it opens the game up, because I was thinking about it and I actually feel like the extra actions take away from the elegance of the White Castle.
Yeah, Becky, I didn't say that I loved the expansion or how it opened it up, just that it does.
Okay, I just
I love that you're like, I agree, Becky.
No, Becky's kind of cowering away from you now. She's like,
No,
"Yeah."
I agree, Becky. You are
okay,
correct.
perfect. But the way that you said it sounded really positive, and I was like, I don't know.
Well, if it turned you off that the White Castle only had 9 turns and you didn't feel like you got to do
okay, yeah, I
anything,
see what you're saying.
then maybe it's get the expansion and play with it because it'll do that for you.
Well, I will say, like, in terms of opening it up, there's more decision space, as we talked about, but it also helps enhance the prevalence of certain aspects of the base game, like the passage of time track. They intentionally added components in the new like tea ceremony to essentially give you more options or opportunities rather to go up the passage of time track. And in the few plays we've had of this, I've certainly noticed that it seems like people are getting farther up that track. Whether or not that's just us being more efficient or that's actually the intended result of the Matcha expansion, I don't know, but it seems like that certainly has helped.
That's interesting. I did maybe got one boost on the track through my actions playing Matcha this last play that we had, but the rest I got from my lantern having almost entirely being able to focus on my lantern track, and that gave me more piece track movement. So I didn't see that as a component. The first couple of plays that I had with Matcha, I ignored it. I didn't really understand it. The board was upside down and it wasn't an area of focus. And this last play that we had, I felt like I took the time to integrate Matcha into my play and strategy. And in the tea house at the bottom, I knew that there was an area that would bolster or multiply my going up in the castle. And so that's where I focused, but I only did that to score points for that action. I didn't mess around as much in the bottom as you all did.
Yeah, except the fact that you use your lantern ability, I think you use it very well. You're very strategic about it. You get enough money so you can always take that dice at the back, which allows you to activate your lantern, but you had 3 more turns to activate that lantern. And I've never seen anybody get so far up the piece track before. And in fact, plays of the White Castle were always like, why would they make this section? Nobody can get up there. How would you even do that? That's impossible. And then you're like, do.
Also, the tea ceremony area, you definitely moved up a couple of spaces on there multiple times, which when you do that, you take one of the cards, you activate its ability, and then you immediately add it to your lantern track. And I know you got at least 1 or 2 passage of time icons through that. So yeah, it certainly adds in that category in terms of helping boost your lantern action.
I was reading the designer diary about this expansion, and it was interesting. They called out the piece track, the piece track, and they
Isn't
had
it
said,
passage of time? Or is it piece track?
It's one of those. We'll put it in Gillian's correction corner.
perfect, the passage of time, the crane track, as we
It's
refer
passage
to
of
it.
time, right? Because you see the different seasons.
Oh,
Okay, that makes more sense now.
wait, I thought you were.
I was being serious, Becky.
The art is a tree and it goes through the different seasons. So at the end, the tree is very barren. And Reed has never noticed this in her 90,000 plays of this game.
And we were talking about it earlier, and so this moment right now, I thought Reed was making a joke.
She was being very serious, Becky.
I'm really glad that it makes sense now.
What were you going to say before you
Anyways.
started mocking me?
We should be nicer to Reed, Becky.
I know how you do.
Why are you so mean to read?
Oh my god. Okay, you're distracting me. I am nice to read, and I am going to tell you about the designer diary, which they had said, they were like, we promised the entire time we were playtesting the White Castle, we all moved up that track very quickly, very far. And so they even realized that, like, once the game came out, people were like, why is this track so long? Why is it like this? But interestingly, during the playtesting, they were always cruising up it.
Becky, I didn't know that you could lie in a designer diary.
No.
Because ain't nobody move up that track, girl. Mm-mm.
I've played this game a lot, and I have only passed that threshold, I think, twice. Also, because the number of persimmons or daimyo seals is what they're really called that you need to be able to do that.
3?
At the end, it's 3.
That's redonkulous.
It's a lot, and Matcha expansion definitely helps with having more opportunities to also get more daimyo seals.
I love how it was really thoughtfully presented how to include the expansion in this. It has its own set of components that just go underneath the main player board. And so you get, as Becky mentioned earlier, another bridge that has these amazing bright colored green pieces, and then there are or dice that go on it, and then there are a number of other cards that I think are purple and greenish gray that are beautiful to add to the play.
And there's also a replacement player board to include the next resource or space for the additional die, the green die that you'll potentially put on your board.
I think it all goes together really nicely. And even though the little extra board that adds that section to the main board is really thoughtful, it doesn't take up a ton of space, and it's not, I guess, I would consider it not a wasteful thing, reprinting the board and everything, but I do feel like it never flattens, so it just kind of looks a little bit sloppy. And that sloppiness, I think, which feels like a really intense word for the next sentence I'm going to say, but like the sloppiness kind of adds to how I feel about the loss of elegance and Matcha expansion from the White Castle.
Yeah, I agree. I would also say Reed and I were playing with some new folks, and we were setting it up, and she had mixed the two together but only brought one of the boxes, and so we were missing components from the base game because it was in the other box. And if you do own the White Castle, you know how full that box is already. It's a Devir game, and it's one of the small box Devir, so they shoved everything in there real good. And so the extra components, the extra pieces, trying to separate those out from the base game, it's just a lot more. It means you have to carry around 2 boxes. So I agree that it feels like a little bit too much in a game that was already packed to the brim, literally, physically, but then also I think in brain space, ability and strategy and thought. Like I don't know that I needed this to improve this game because I thought it was already a really amazing game.
The White Castle is in my top 3 games, if not my top game of all time. And I think that that's also part of why I shied away from playing the Matcha part of the board the first few times that I played this. But I feel that they feel like 2 very different games, playing the White Castle by itself and then playing the White Castle with the Matcha expansion.
Yeah, and I wouldn't use Matcha. I think there's a limit to what you can learn, and the base game already has a lot of pieces going on, a lot of rules over ahead, a lot of thinky pieces, especially because you only get 9 turns. So you have to be really, really thoughtful and intentional. And that is very hard to teach somebody. So I wouldn't incorporate this into the base game because if you're going to play with new players, I certainly would not teach you Matcha.
I agree with that. I have taught the White Castle to a number of people who have picked it up and said, I love this game. I want to get this game almost immediately, like the reaction that I had when Gillian first taught it to us. But I do not feel comfortable enough to teach Matcha to new players yet. Maybe after a few more plays, I'll feel more comfortable with it. But
And with all that being said, I still do like this expansion. Like I think it adds some fun into it. There's a lot more abundance, like in the number of cards in your lantern, which like the amount that Reed had and Gillian had, I think he was pretty close to Reed's, but like it felt bananas. I was like, what are you guys doing with all those lantern cards, and why do I still have 3? Because I'm playing poorly. But adding the extra spaces, and there's a pond that's underneath the bridge. It's not another set of gardeners, and that gives you another choice at the end. If you move one of your geishas over there, like you can get resources or you can do another action. And the space that Gillian was talking about on your board for the green die that adds another action, like it gives you more opportunities to do more things, and I think that can be fun. It just isn't as tight as the original game. So I still think, like, if you really enjoy this game and you maybe want to mix it up sometimes, I think it's a great expansion to pick up. But if you're just getting into the White Castle, I don't think it's like you do not need to immediately run out and buy this expansion.
Yeah, and I'd echo that statement there. Is it necessary? No. Did I enjoy it? Yes. I think I'm maybe in the minority in this group in terms of liking it quite a bit, actually, because one of the things that I really appreciated about it is it gives you, I think, more leeway in the strategies that you apply, because going up the tea ceremony track, and if you end in kind of the tea ceremony room, as Reed said, you'll get multipliers based on the other three like regions that you can send workers to. And one of the not really issues I had with the base game, but the base game, like the castle is really a huge point getter for you. And it's still the case in Matcha. But I feel like with the Matcha expansion, it's easier to potentially just avoid that, because if you send your swordsman out and then you focus on gardeners and you get Geisha to those tea ceremonies that multiply your score based on those two things, it could potentially allow you to, not heavily invest in the White Castle region of the board. And so I appreciated that. It had more openness for strategy and testing things out, I would say, in my somewhat limited experience. But I really enjoyed it. But I do also love the base game as well.
I also think that the last play that we had, where I focused more on the matcha area, gave me a lot more interest in playing it. Before I was kind of like, give or take it. And this time I'm like, oh, I do think that there are going to be more times that I want to pull this out.
Hey, man, like Gillian said, because of that new area, if you go hard gardeners, there is now maybe a way to win. And notoriously, Becky once told me that was not a winning strategy because I kept losing.
But now you could potentially win with that strategy.
No, I just keep losing, Gillian, but that's not the point. I think it might be user error. Wyrmspan Dragon Academy was published in 2025 and is produced by the same team as Wyrmspan, Connie Vogelman and Clementine Compardue. It retails for $30. Reed, what's new in the expansion?
Dragon Academy adds a wide variety of new dragons and caves, objective tiles, dragon guilds, and a new round tracker that presents you with an income choice when you pass for the round. It's also meant to help people from hoarding coins.
All right, let's get it out of the way why this expansion did not need to happen. People who take the coin strategy were targeted unfairly by this expansion. It is no justice, no peace for us coin hoarders.
I don't think it really affected the coin issue, honestly.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, I remember thinking very specifically, like, oh, wow, Angela doesn't... I have more coins than Angela.
Well,
That's weird.
because it just worked out that way in terms of the cards that came up.
Absolutely not. Well, yes, because it adds more dragons, getting the cards that give you more coins were harder. And then 2, it has a mechanic where at the end, kind of like something like Clans of Caledonia, where if you are the first person to pass, you're going to have the first opportunity. And at times, that means that you're actually not going to get the same number of coins as everybody else if you take longer on your turn. So unfortunately, there were times where something like everybody else got 8 coins, but I was the last to go, so I got 7. And I was like, this is a travesty, because I try to get coins, and then that means my turn is longer, which means everybody hates me.
I'm glad that you personally felt this change.
In my heart and soul.
Okay, now I feel a little sad about it.
Yeah.
One of the other new mechanisms that was introduced was the fledgling dragon that you trained to unlock powers. And I thought that was a fun and delightful thing, except The fledgling training cubes, treats, whatever they were a little kind of sad brown cubes. So I don't know what they were cubes of, but maybe they could have been. Oh no, they were sparkly, right?
I was
Little
trying.
shimmery.
I was coming in to say they are shiny.
Becky's correction corner.
Becky's like, it had gold. I caught it.
Don't worry, I saw it was shiny for sure. But I do like that those add a little bit something extra as you're moving your adventurer, who looks, I always want to call him a hiker, but the adventurer across the different dragons. It gives you a new stop and something interesting to do. Once it's filled up, then you get the special scoring ability or additional ability. They were kind of hard to get, though, but maybe it was just me.
I hoarded them. That's what
Oh,
happened.
No,
that's why.
it's the Gillian took them all. I was like, I got one of them because someone kept stealing them.
And it was one of the end of round objectives, I
Yeah,
think,
so
to
I
have
had a ton
fledglings.
of
And
them.
so I always raced for those and thought that I was doing a lot better than Gillian. And then I looked over and you just like had bounced up.
Yeah, I like those new dragons. I think that's a good part of this expansion. Other than the coins, I like this expansion, I should say. Because, one, it's a big deck game. And so adding a different type of dragon doesn't feel too different. And those fledglings gave you really awesome abilities. I didn't have any, so I can't really recall what they gave you. But it seemed pretty powerful from the other side of the table.
Yeah. And to hit on the coin point part, it's interesting because like when you talked about it, I agreed with you, and then I thought more about it. And I don't think the end of round coin gathering made too much of a difference necessarily, because in the first and second rounds at least, I think there's only one space that grants somebody 6 coins. Every other space gives the players 5 coins plus resources. And so it was almost like only one person gets like 1 coin over everybody else at the end of each round. I think the end of the third round, there were 2 spaces that had 6 coins. But yeah, so I felt like it didn't make as much of a difference as I thought it would. I think it really boiled down to the cave cards and dragon cards that came out and the lack of bonus coins they gave you.
I did like that option for income selection at
Yep.
the end of the round, though, that space you're talking about, because for someone who did pass often before everyone else, it was nice to be like, ooh, I get the best pick. Well, for me, it's the best for me.
Yeah, and it's oftentimes like I was second or third and this 6 coin spot was available, but if you choose the 6 coins, that's all you get. You don't get resources. And so there are often times where I chose the one to get resources because I needed a specific resource for one of the dragons in my hand. And so I made that choice kind of out of necessity.
I agree that I made the choice of where I was at the end of the round based on how I wanted to play my next round. It didn't feel like I was racing for the same one each time. And I think that as we played the game, it became clear what resources were needed more. And I think then we started getting a little bit more competitive toward the end of the game.
Yeah, and I would say by far that was my favorite aspect of this expansion were those end of round kind of resources that you gather. Rather than just a flat, everybody gets 6 coins at the end of each round. That added a lot more. I think it was just more dynamic and interactive in that way.
Another component of the upgrade is that there are a few cards that are actually replaced. And so you have to go through and sort. I think it's 3 cards or cave cards that you take out. And I don't remember why, but they must not have fit well with the new movements.
That was something I made a note about when I was looking at the differences. I saw that Jamie on Board Game Geek had chimed in to say that they took out the caves that allowed all players the option to advance on the Dragon Guild because they felt like it slowed down the gameplay. So I appreciate that they were being thoughtful about that while they were making all these additions as well.
I like the new expanded guild cards, especially because that was one of the things I really liked about the new, or what I like about Wyrmspan is going up that guild track, which feels different than the rest of the Span games. And so adding some more variability, because you only had a few, I think you only had 3 in Wyrmspan. So adding something new in was really fun because I was like, oh, look at these cool new ones. So it does shake it up a bit without so dramatically changing the gameplay. Yes, at the end you get to choose a resource and some coins, and yes, it gives you some new pieces and a new type of dragon, but I wouldn't say this radically changes how you play the game. It feels like a more stuff expansion, not, as we just talked about with the White Castle. For me, it doesn't feel like it changes the game. It just adds more things to it in a way that's very easily digestible.
Another one of those things that we haven't mentioned yet is there are a new type of dragon that is free to play based on conditions. So, for example, the dragon may be free to play if it's the third or fourth dragon in that cave row. And so I did appreciate having that. I don't think I ever built one for free, and I was like looking over Gillian's shoulder like, oh, how'd you build that? And so, but I like that it's in there.
Yeah, and balancing that with the fledgling dragons, I think, is really smart because this is a game, Wyrmspan, the base game, you can almost fill every single cave and every single dragon already. So being able to build a free dragon feels like, oh, I'm definitely going to make that happen. So the fledglings do add a little bit more of a flavor that maybe you want to keep going down a certain track before you expand something else.
Yeah, you definitely have to. If you're going fledgling, you have to focus on fledgling and moving those forward because they don't give you the scoring mechanism if you don't. So I would say that I probably had 75% of my board filled in the play.
Reed, with all of these fun things we are adding to the game, how did you feel about the game box storage?
So this is interesting as we've talked about both Matcha and Dragon Academy. These are both games that I own. I think that Dragon Academy is meant to be integrated permanently into your game. They talk about it. All of the components fit into the main box or should fit into the main box. I do have the upgraded meat bits and coins, and so that takes up a little bit more room. I think Becky did some magic on putting it all together. But it is interesting that it's seen as a permanent integration, whereas Matcha is a game that would not fit in, as we talked about, and I see the need for Matcha to be separate so that I can choose when to play it. I would be fine permanently having Dragon Academy be a part of my Wyrmspan game.
I definitely can see people who really enjoy playing Wyrmspan wanting to add that in, and then you just have that now and it's part of the options because you don't have to use those dragon guilds that were added in order to play the new expansion. So I think it works really well that way.
I think it's kind of similar to Wingspan's European expansion, where it is very much kind of a more stuff type thing. So it is easy to integrate. It's not much additional rules overhead, and it can just live there as it was intended to be.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like you need to buy this expansion right away. You've played your first game, you love it, you need it. Definitely get some games in and then add it in and never take it out.
Yeah, I don't know that you need it. Certainly if you love Wyrmspan, I do think it's a really good value add. I think the new dragons, the endgame pieces, then I would say you should get it. If you really like Wyrmspan, this is probably a no-brainer. If you are like, it's fine, I play it with my family and you don't need to expand that, then I would say you could skip it and probably just be fine.
I've mentioned before when we've talked about Wyrmspan many times that it's a game that I teach to a lot of people that are just kind of exploring slightly crunchier games or who have not played the game before. And this is a welcome expansion for me to kind of also feel like this game is fresh when I've played it a number of times. And maybe it's not one that I would always go to, but other people are excited by it.
Yeah, and I don't think for any of us, and correct me if I'm wrong, because for me it doesn't, this doesn't move up my list of Span games. Like, it doesn't change the order of how I feel about any of them. It's just kind of a cool addition to the one that I like the best anyway.
I forgot that you like this one the best, so I was listening to you and I was like, yeah, I agree with you. Yep. Mm-hmm. Wait a second. I mean, I still agree. It doesn't change my opinion about it, for sure.
And Becky is fin span at the top at this moment.
Yeah, because it's so snappy.
Whoa, I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yours is Wingspan. And Reed's is Wingspan as well?
It is.
It is, yeah. We all have a different span game that we like.
That's true. I'm a little bit ambidextrous. I would, yes.
Okay.
Or flexible.
You love any type of span.
They feel homey to me. It feels like a comfort game to me. I, being the only one that owns this game, bought this Stonemaier Champion. Price was $20, which is great.
Dang.
I feel like it added a lot to the play for $20. I do want to say, too, that it's interesting that Matcha is $29.99 and the White Castle was $39.99. So those are very close in price. And that is I don't know if it's just time, tariffs. I got the White Castle more than a year ago.
Yeah, White Castle made my list of, because I got the short change in a different episode where I only had $100, and this was the crunchy game I bought because it's so inexpensive. So you're right. I don't know that I would buy the expansion if I was on a budget or thinking about like, hey, that's almost the cost of the entire game. Certainly if you found it on sale. Whereas this Stonemaier Champion thing is really working out for you.
Yeah, it's great. Flat rate shipping, and I think it's 20% off, and then early access to things. So I bought Dragon Academy, I think, the day that it went on sale.
It's like a Stonemaier flex.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to give my Finspan expansion for your game.
I hope that it's shrimp.
Ooh!
They had a survey about what animals did you want it to bring. And I said shrimp, and then I said whale because I was informed that there's not a whale in Finspan. It was just a whale shark.
The whale shark read.
I forgot
So I
that.
said whale and shrimp.
Thank you for expanding our friendship and listening to Board Game Homies. Drop us a line on Blue Sky, Instagram, or Board Game Geek. Bye-bye.
Also, did you guys know the designers that made this also made the Red Cathedral?
Yes.
I had heard that rumor when we played the Red Cathedral.
Oh.
Which we've only played once.
That I went out and bought because they designed this game. And I forgot that you all had it.
Notoriously, Becky, she did not buy the upgraded edition and was shooketh when she opened her own box.
Very sad when I had to punch out cardboard pieces.
You know, Gillian's upgrades kind of, like, I think they ruin games for people. Because we had some other friends. I think we've talked about this before on the pod, but like we played Cascadia and we had like a nice insert. We had the wooden pine cones, and then I convinced them. I was like, "Yeah, you should go buy that for the trip you're headed on." And then they texted me like, "Where are the pine cones?" Like that was Gillian's upgraded game, wasn't it? So
See, Gillian just ruining games for others.
I know.
Actually, I think you bought those pine cones.
I did, yeah. It's delightful. We all have them.
No, I have peasant pine cones, and I played the other day with Burks, and he was...
Jesus Christ, Reed, get an upgrade.
Well,
That's the outtake.
Yeah,
Jesus
no,
Christ,
yeah,
Reed, get an upgrade.
I don't know how much of that we're keeping in because Becky forgot that we knew about
I
the
didn't
right.
know it.
Also,
I didn't know.
How did you not? We literally mocked Reed on a podcast about it.
Oh no, that okay. Well,
And in
never mind.
person.
But
Yeah, but
you guys are so mean to Reed. Be nice to her.
I was bringing back her statement from before. It
That's
was
fine,
just stating what she had said herself.
I don't know which sick Reed burn we're gonna end on. Quite frankly, that's a problem for future Angela.
It's going to be a 5-minute outro. Just
Oh my god! Oh my
Reed,
god!
you bring the burns.
Oh, that's what we need to
Yeah.
do. We have an episode of Reed. Just
Sick Reed burns.
Well, it'll go next to Angela's Paul Denon comments.
then there'll be another episode of just Becky, Reed, and me messing up our names. It'll be great.
I'll stitch that together.